One more.
Just take the pretzel over there.
I think it's melting. I think it's tragic. Your face?
God, man.
What? That wouldn't be realistic. If they what's melted your face. Oh my god. What am I doing? Elon? You're just gonna blaze to the fire. The fire. Pull it off. That's too much charcoal. Sorry, I have to do it all. I can't use too much charcoal. Well, not all of it. That's too much charcoal to put. I'm letting it in.
They sounded pretty good.
You're getting the second layer. We were supposed to burn it, honestly. Spider in my bedroom. No. There's a long footprint. You like the phone? Dad, it's on the ground. It's like fire starting on the grass.
It's alright.
No, Dad, it's not alright. It's a little close.
We'll just go put it. We'll go put it back in. Oh, the trees are there. Let's see if it's going in the trees. Just make sure you don't burn yourself on them.
Oh, I touched some ash.
Just let it burn.
My thing touched some ash. No. Oh, bruh.
Just let it burn. Who wants some meat? Go.
Even edible?
What if I eat it while it's on fire?
No, you have to peel some of it off, and then you can eat some of
Eat
it.
it while it's ablaze.
Yeah.
This is such a hard place. Do you see what I'm...
For that, though.
Still got the tree there.
I'll bled you. You can eat it no matter what.
You just have to. That's nasty. You can't eat too much of it. Dad taught me that a while ago.
I hate Dude, you should wait. Flick much. Don't stab it. You're gonna knock it off the speaker.
Gotta oil it.
What is your issue? It's just a bit of char. Like, as much as I don't like it either, I don't need to do all that extra effort. You want some? It doesn't taste like I'm not gonna. No! Please? I'm not gonna be no designated light source here. I used the fire. I looked at that
Damn it.
Oh yeah, I have probably the burnt mark. Unrecognizable. Don't touch it. Don't want another incident like that happened last night.
What happened last time?
The other thing brought home because he had an allergy reaction. It's possibly.
Don't make things. Oh, the allergy.
Yeah, it was either from the frogs. Well, take the Spanish taco without changing the ingredients.
And those are the fish that was
It's
really.
because of the Spanish
And the
chocolate.
fish. And the fish. We had frogs today before we didn't watch this.
No, but you said there wasn't anything in it. It tasted like exotic candy. Like exotic enough to where it made me want to throw up the same. I got so mad because I was genuine. There was like a strawberry one. I was enjoying it so much because it was like a hot candy that I just was had in my mouth, like dissolved it. And then Bonilla said, "Oh, I had that one. Do not bite it." And I'm like, "Why?" And I bit through it. Immediately, I just spit it all over my desk because it was so nasty. Because there's like a filling in the middle of it. It was so nasty. I was enjoying it too, and then madness hit me so hard, and I just won.
Oh, there's a star. Star's out.
It's a lot of them. But
Yeah, nothing last time. I mean, he was usually on top.
It's over 90.
it's because you got ground light. You don't usually see them that good.
The bright light.
I know, but the tremendous right now. It's stars. The moon, I'm not caring about. I'm caring about slightly burning the thing, but not to an ultimate extent. No, I already stuffed the card after this one. Look, then it's not good, and you won't be able to fix it.
I will grab it. I don't.
The fire?
Yes, I. Whoa, that's awesome.
You can look, but there's not much to see because it's keeps going behind the trees. Just come over here and look at the camera. You gotta stand on your tippy toes and go around that way.
Why not just use like the actual one? Just with your eyes.
Because I do videos of it. Alright, I lost it. I gotta get over the camera. Yeah, it's going behind the trees. It's way better with doing it with the camera because you can zoom in and everything. Like you can't do that with your eyes.
Where did you put the other skewers? There were longer sticks in there. I don't know what the heck you did to them. Threw them away?
What's it? Yeah, Mom threw them away. Your mother threw them away. I didn't throw them away.
There was metal tall ones in the bin, like super long ones. The one with the little two cookies triangles. I put them back. What the heck? They're made out of metal. I don't even know why.
I don't know. She didn't want them hanging around, I guess.
Oh, she may have reorganized it. I didn't see anything we did in the giveaway pile that had metal skewers.
The one that was in the picture. It's not like the two. No, yeah, she went to the beach. She had got help on the.
I think my marshmallow just like
The moon went behind the tree, but I'm still doing the video anyway. Can't see you.
I wonder how many of those like weather like cloud videos you could make. With all the videos and stuff.
Weather
You know,
cloud
there's-
videos? I don't really
there's,
make
like-
weather cloud videos. That's just your guys' impression of it. That has nothing to do with what I make. Even if you wanted to say that I'm watching the geoengineering project or the chemtrails or the condensation trails, no, not really. That was a long time ago. I stopped being interested in that stuff like 10, 15 years ago when I realized that nobody was going to really wake up
Mhm.
because no one looks up. That's the problem. So that stuff's old news. The stuff that I'm showing everybody is way, way beyond any of that.
Yeah.
When you
I was
guys
just
get
saying,
older,
like, with all your footage, because a lot of that stuff goes viral. So I was just saying, like, you could just make money.
I've
off
got, I don't want to make money either. This is all about education, and
Mhm.
even the word education can't be used because people get offended by that. Like you're showing them something that they already went to Harvard to learn, or something like that. So that doesn't work either. So I'm very careful nowadays how I word everything. That's why I'm correcting you on it because I know that's the impression that anybody that you ask is, what's Edgy's dad doing? Oh, he's doing cloud videos or whatever. So you automatically relate that to weather, and what I'm showing you is that no, it's not.
What do you call it?
Electromagnetic nanocarbon system. I call it in my videos, showing you that you can
have
all
videos?
see. Yeah, I have,
Wow.
I have a YouTube channel, 3 YouTube channels, and I post all the videos you're talking about. So that's thousands, and I think I got 3,000 on the Michael Oziak channel. I've got
Wait,
about
3,000 videos or 3,000?
3,000 videos on the Michael
Wow.
Oziak channel.
That's
I do
impressive.
series. I do a series. When you see me doing these cloud videos,
Mhm.
what I do is I take the cloud videos, and then I back them up with either music, and I'm showing you things in the clouds, the trees, the rocks, the moon, stones, water. I'm showing you something that's too long for us to get into discussion about now.
Yeah.
But what I'm showing you is that you can all see it for yourselves. Um, and people, it's not. I think you probably heard me say in the past, everything you've ever heard, learned, thought, taught, programmed has been a lie. Have you ever heard me say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely true, and it's provable. So by going and looking at what it is I'm showing people, if anyone chooses to go look, they will see that. I don't want to be monetized on my channels because that would fuck everything up for me. Number one, it would make me look like a sellout. It would make me look like that's why I make videos is for
Mhm.
money,
For money.
that kind of thing, right? And this is too serious. It's too big of a deal. It's too important to go portraying it as that. So that's why I stay very calm. I calmly explain things to people as they'll come. You guys are starting to get a little older, so you'll be able. Like even Nathan was here today, and I was ready to give because the other day when we're working on his car, he sees the camera out there too. So, he's asked me before about what it is I'm doing, and I just say I can't say nothing because I don't want anybody's parents calling me saying, "What the fuck you
Oh
teaching
yeah.
my
Like, what are you
kids?"
telling
or
my children?
whatever. Yeah, right.
What are you trying to feed to them?
Right. But I am gonna give them the channel name, and that's the channel name is under my name anyway, so you can find it. So I'm doing a series right now that I started about 10 days ago, and these last 10 videos have been really, really good because I found what I found about 9 years ago. So now I'm really good at showing everybody what it is and how to see it themselves, which is more important than telling anyone about what it is, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking about a true creator, the evidence of a true creator. That's hard to explain to people because a lot of people go to church, a lot of religions. So when you tell people they're going to be seeing the true creator, it doesn't go along with they've ever heard, learned, thought, taught, programmed about a true creator. No matter what it is, science, it goes against science. You already know about the math. It goes against all math, and if you take out the math, then all science is also a lie because all science is based on math, 0 through infinity math. Same thing with physics. Physics is all bullshit. So when you start telling people who are physicists that they don't know what the hell they're talking about and they can go see reality, just go look. And of course they're going to get upset. They put their whole life into it. When you try to tell somebody that's interested in weather and they want to be a weather reporter, remember, when Edgy was about 6 years old, I took him and Olivia camping myself. Do you remember that? That time you cried because you were scared of being with me alone? And Mom, yeah. So we were with that guy. That guy was there with his kids, and he just got a job. It was a really good paying job, and it was working for the weather agency. And when at that time, that was long ago. I didn't know about what I know now. But back then, I was real big on chasing down, following, monitoring the chemtrails. So he and I got into a 2-hour discussion, and he was just like joking me off, laughing me off about anything that I talked about. Because he's like, "No, that's a conspiracy." I said, "How can you say that? We're gonna stand here and we're gonna count 10 trails every 5 minutes. They're way below the flight scale because they're only flying at 10,000 feet because that's what chemtrails do. The United Nations writes about it in their books. It's called geoengineering. It's called cloud seeding. It's not a secret. So why are weathermen out there pretending that that's a big conspiracy theory and only crazy people? Any one of us could look up in the sky at any time and see these jets flying all over the place. Like,
Yeah.
so what we justify it is, oh, those are planes coming out of Boston. No, they're not. No, they're not, because we know that those planes are flying at 30,000 feet. You're never going to see them down here unless they're coming in for an emergency and they got to fly low or something like that. But otherwise, no. Anything at 10,000 feet, that's military airspace. Below 10,000 feet, it depends on what it is. They don't fly at night. They don't fly at night. That's how little you know. This is my son who should know everything about what I'm
Who doesn't fly
about
at
this.
The military.
The military jets, the chemtrail jets. The chemtrail. We don't.
I'm talking about like
Any.
Boston plane. You said they don't fly.
Okay, let me ask you. No, they don't fly at
He's
no,
talking
no,
about
no.
the military.
The military
You're just
jets.
using that as an
The
example.
chemtrail jets don't fly at night. Can you tell me why they don't fly at night? You should know this. And tell me what nights. There is particular nights that they do actually fly.
Can I get a hint?
And you tell me, yeah, it's what I'm doing right now. We're coming upon a full moon. That's a waxing moon. So the moon is getting bigger every night. And from now until then, they will start chemtrailing around my site to the moon. Now, the other thing is this. I shouldn't have said that because that gives away the next question. So where do they fly when they do fly at night? Only around 7 days around the full moon, leading up to and coming down from waxing and waning full moon. And where do you think they'd be flying? Do you think they'd be flying to my north where the moon is never? No. They fly east to west all around here. Not just for my sake, but for anybody from the ground that's seeing that moon from at this time of night all through the day when they're doing it and everything and trailing. That's what they do. Because in other words, I can see them all in my south. I can see them from going east to west all in my south, only around full moons. But otherwise in the daytime, they're everywhere. They're in the north, south, east, west. They're fucking going all over. You guys should know this stuff. They should have taught you this shit in school. They should have went outside every day because can you tell me the days a week that they trail? How many, or I should say, how many days a week do they trail?
3.
Close, three to four. Yeah, 3 to 4 days a week. Yeah, so 3 to 4 days a week. That's probably a lucky guess, right? So 3 to 4 days a week that they do trail the shit out of us. How many trails a day? Everyone
So
should
what
know
are the
that.
trails for?
There's a lot of things that they do with them. Some are weather modification. Some are weather modification. Another one that is even a bigger one is the nanoparticles that they put into them. Could be a lot of things. You know about MK Ultra? You ever hear of MK Ultra?
No, I haven't.
All right, so it's something that they started back in the 60s and experiments that they started doing. The chemtrailing project that we're talking about, the geoengineering, it didn't start big until Reagan. And Reagan brought it in, and he put it in as space defense, right? It was a space defense program that he had, and it was something named something like that. But anyways, when he started that, that's where they got the hundreds of billions of dollars to put into this geoengineering project. At the time, it was called Agenda 21 because they wanted a certain amount of damage to be done by 2021. That was the name of the agenda, and there was all kinds of, and they did it. They got everybody's addicted to cell phones, everything they had in their agenda, total slavery, and then here we go into Agenda 2025, and you guys know what Agenda 2025, that's the overhead dome, which is Elon Musk putting out his thing. Elon Musk just got paid with the bill from about a month ago that got passed. Okay, so that's $250 billion to Elon, and that's going to be for drones that are going to be constantly watching everything we do. Those drones are going to monitor us by our cell phones and our license, driver's license, are going to be logged in. It's going to be called digital ID. Same shit they do in China,
Yeah.
if you're familiar with that. So digital ID, that means, I was saying to him today, he brought me some candy, Nathan, and I was telling Nathan about this, and I said, just like that candy you got, I said, by next year, by this time next year, according to this new bill, you will not be able to go buy that candy. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, because you have diabetes. Because you have diabetes, you're going to have a digital ID, and when you go into the store to get me, he went to get me some of those,
You might need sugar.
huh?
You might need sugar.
No, but he can't. It's
Why?
because all your medical records are going to be tied to everything
You
else.
need to eat sugar for diabetes.
No, 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 no.
Some diabetes.
Not that sugar. They don't. Not the doctor don't want you eating that sugar. Not even when you feel a rush. You're not supposed to go to that. You're supposed to go to insulin.
Mhm.
They want you going to
Yeah, it's
insulin.
gonna be processed
It's
sugar.
it's the how
Right.
break
So
it
they
down.
just collected
But
all of
There's
your.
different types of diabetes. Sometimes you don't have enough sugar.
Yeah.
That's different.
And you're
For
never
him-
supposed
for
to have.
him,
And you're
he
never
has too
supposed to
much.
have. And the doctor will never. Even if you're right about that, which maybe we are, but still, the doctor won't want you to do that. He's going to say go to one of the medications. He's never going to tell you to pick up a chocolate bar to.
Yeah, but that's what Seamus does.
I
Seamus-
know they do
He has a
it, but they
different
won't
type
be
of
able to do it
diabetes.
next year. So pay attention. They won't be able to do it because by this time next year, when that bill goes through, all the Medicaid and the Medicare is all going to come apart. And then what they're doing is putting out this digital ID. It's being done through Peter Thiel's company and Elon Musk's. He used to work close with him. It's called. I already told you this. Palantir. If you look up Palantir, you'll see that just went through in the bill. They got another $2 trillion to do what they're doing. So Palantir is going to be running the Gold Dome and all that kind of shit. What we're looking at now is all of our law enforcement is going to be done by drones, and the drones are already set up to be sitting on top of all the light posts, and they can lift up and take off and go monitor neighborhoods at any time. So if somebody calls 911, let's say every 12th light in the neighborhood will have one of these drones sitting on top of it. They already do, but it's not every 12th pole. But that is how they do it. On top of all these, that's why they changed all the LED lights in the whole United States, because they first did it in Ukraine and they did it in other countries. They did it in Israel. They did it in China. They did the same shit. Now it's coming to America where we're supposed to be free. We pretend to be free. So now that it's coming here, everybody's still in denial of it, and it's fucking happening. It's actually happening right now. That's why I'm so worried about your guys' generation. None of you guys know any of this shit because you're listening to your parents and your schools and shit, and no one's paying attention. And you guys are getting screwed. You're not going to have any freedom. So if you can't go buy candy for somebody without giving an explanation, and that's how it'll all start. It'll be when you go to buy the candy, when Nathan goes to get Twizzlers, that's what they were, Twizzlers. He goes to get Twizzlers for his mechanic for helping him out. They're going to say, sorry, you already had your purchase, and with your medical, but that's why if you guys paid attention when Trump first came into office, him and Elon went in, if you're familiar with this, and they tore apart the entire Social Security system. All right, well, that Social Security system is when you guys were born, we sold you out. We sold you out. We even gave the hospital your umbilical cord to have your DNA so they'd have your gene for future gene manipulation, adaptation to the computerized system that they're going to try to drag you out. They're just dragging you into it. And because your parents all around, not just our parents, but everybody and our grandparents and everybody before them, because they all should have figured this shit out for us. We shouldn't even have had to deal with this. You guys got it bad because this is the time. This is you guys. I don't know if you got it the worst of all the age groups. I can't say, because the thing is the younger kids are going to be so fucking dumbed down compared to even your guys' generation that they won't even know that they're in this, right? It's already bad enough for us, but we still have hope because there are older people who can tell you guys the memories of what it used to be like to actually pretend to be free better than we are today. Because back then when I was a kid, I tell you about all the freedom we had and all that, but the thing is we were just pretending it was freedom too. When you really think about it, that's what I was saying to you the other day about titles for your car. They're not really, you don't own your cars. Nobody does. The manufacturer who makes your cars owns your cars. You get a title in the mail after you pay and work hard for it, and it still says Pontiac Corporation or General Motors Corporation or whoever. You only hold, if you read any title for anything, it says copy of title, copy of deed, and they know, they put it right in your face. They tell you, and your social security numbers were sold on the human stock market, just like mine was. But now I know about it. So you were sold on the human stock market, just like cattle, when you were born. And me and your mom didn't know any better. Now I do know better, but it's kind of late. But at least it's late for me to go back and say I demand and act like an asshole. They would have arrested me anyway, right? Because I'm outnumbered. So if everybody else in the community says, "Oh, just fucking sign the papers," right? Get the kids vaccinated, get them all their vaccines, and get them. Come on, man. We haven't seen none of these diseases in 200 fucking years, and you're shooting up our kids with 300 and something shot. You know,
Then it'll come back.
huh?
Because people still carry it. It's just then it'll come back.
No. No, your body would build an immune system to anything bad that's going to come. It really will. I'm telling you, with the
Depending on if
with,
it goes from other animals, the animals build an immunity, and then once it comes to humans, they're not gonna be able to adapt that stuff. That's why.
not to be able to adapt because we fucked ourselves. That's something we did to ourselves. Antibiotics. If you're going to put antibiotics in the cows when you're working on the cows, you're not going to let them be naturally antibiotic and have their own natural antibiotics. No, you're going to treat everything like a big factory rather than just have farm animals that go right from the farm to the fucking table. We used to have enough farms around here where you didn't have to play those games.
People complain about that.
Sure, one guy from Arizona says he's got a bellyache and the son got sick, but they don't tell you the rest of the story.
Exactly.
They
But
don't
then-
say, hey, the meat was in the car for
then they
2
lose
days.
Then they lose money. They lose their rotation. They can no longer feed
The government shuts them down, just like
Yeah.
they just did with the bird flu. So one bird, one fucking chicken gets the flu virus, the stupid chicken virus, right? Bird flu, right? So now they kill hundreds of millions of fucking chickens all over the United States because of these one chicken who didn't even die from it. Didn't even die from it. And then and then they make some claim that it jumped to a horse, and they got evidence that it jumped to a horse. You're not talking just 380 million fucking people. If they would have acted normally with the COVID virus, then maybe they could have kept fooling everyone. But what they did with the COVID was they showed everybody what kind of lying scum they all are. They really did. And anybody that fucking bought into it, now everybody's sick and dying still from it. You know, years later, they're dying from the shot, not from the COVID. And then all the lies that we all put up with, wearing a diaper on your face, not going and walking down arrows in the aisles, that was all about being good slaves. It had nothing to do about keeping the COVID-19 away, because as you've seen, everybody that took that shot got the COVID more than people that didn't take the shot. Their COVID was worse. It had more. It took longer to get rid of, and then they got a bad reaction from the shot. Everybody did, even the ones that didn't have a physical malfunction. Their fucking brains, if you talk to them, their brains are nuts. You got to think about it. Anybody that told you, yeah, I'm gonna put this mask on my face, you too, kids. You kids put them on too for the next 2 years. Wear these fucking masks and stay away from everybody. Don't go to your friends. Don't go to your girlfriends. Don't go to your grandparents' funeral or wakes. Don't go to no weddings. Don't go to birthday parties. And you all did it. You all did it. He said, okay, we'll stay home, play our fucking video games. We'll stay on our cell phones all fucking day and do nothing, right? And we did it. We're slaves. That just proves it right there. And then not only that, but then they put out a vaccination that's not a vaccination. It's a gene manipulator, which you heard me say a million times. It's provable. That's provable. It's admitted. And Donald Trump and the pedophile crew of Jeffrey Epstein, they made $3.2 trillion selling vaccination bullshit. And no one's even talking about that because they're distracted by the pedophilia stuff, which is also important, but no one's ever going to get anything out of it. It's all CGI now today, so they can just make some fake CGI movies, put them out there, prove that they're fake, and then say, see, it's all fake, right? So it's a game. The real story to all that is $3.2 trillion to put out a quick vaccination that's not a vaccination, and then all the other things that went with it that you guys just never think about because your teacher, you guys are busy in school 7 hours a day learning shit, learning their lies. But if you would have really knew the truth, if a teacher would have stood up once in a while, you might have got some truth and said, hey, remember all those tents that Donald Trump made? That was that was $120 million in hospital tents. He also spent $1.7 billion having respirators made. He also went and and started the COVID-19 test kit. Remember, for $10 a piece, you could buy them. You know how many millions and billions of those were sold in the United States and all over the world? They made trillions of fucking dollars, and they made it off our backs, right? And then making the vaccine, selling the vaccine for $1,000 a pop, and all the shit that they were doing. They made trillions of dollars, literally, and off of our backs, and we were all so stupid to go along with it. So, so it just goes on and on and on with all their fucking lies, you know. So, so the stuff I'm trying to show people is way beyond even all of that. It's even beyond all that stuff. Um, so that's why I can't get into a lot of it.
It would take like hours to explain that.
It does take hours, because there's a lot of questions to each thing, and then it goes against everything you've ever heard, learned, taught, program. So then it leads to more and more questions, you know. I'll give you guys a little gist of it here and there when we shoot the shit, but like if you go back to the zeros again, you know, you got a little bit of a gist of the zeros. You can kind of throw it away in the back of your mind when you go to school, because you say, all right, Edgy's dad is just Edgy's dad. It means nothing. Zero, I know what zero means, you know. So the teachers all taught me, right?
Zero's a concept.
Yeah, zero's a concept, all right. It's a bad concept. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Writing it off is just a concept, so and say that's how you accept it. That's how your mirror neuron manipulator bypasses your mirror neuron, and you know that you're doing yourself harm. Rather than stand up in school and be the
It can't affect you. It does nothing.
it does affect you big time, big time. Just the fact that you don't stand up in school knowing that, you and Lucas both, right? Let's say this was another world. Let's say this was a reality-based world, right? That reality-based world, you guys would have went through all that zero stuff a couple of years ago when we went through it, and you guys would have talked as friends, and you would have got together, and then one day in class, someone would have said, either you or him, you guys would have raised your hand and said, teacher, I'm not doing this anymore. The zero is bullshit. It's a human concept.
Yeah.
It's hurting her, right? And you would have said, so we're not using it in my math anymore. I'm going to show you, teacher, the real fucking math, and you should implement it up the ladder. And if you fail me for my math and tell me that my math is wrong, because my math is the true creator's math, I can prove it to you that it's the true creator's math. The zero in infinity, they don't belong. So if you're going to take out 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, everything with a zero in it gonna go, then come on, man. You telling me that's not a big deal? And human math, everybody does. And you know what I found out too after more research with that? It wasn't even the white man that started that bullshit. It wasn't even the Romans. It wasn't the Greeks. Do you know who it was? Yeah, do you know who it was that pulled the zero in first?
I think it was I can't remember the name.
It was the South. It was the Muslims. It was the Egyptians and the Muslims. And
They used it to calculate
right, so that means that it did not start. So the last ones to even use 1 through 9 math were the Aztecs. The Aztecs were the last ones
they used it too. They
in
used it
history.
symbols.
No. By the time, no, they didn't have zeros.
They use it in symbols.
Maybe it's not the Aztecs. I'm thinking of before the Aztecs. Then, so you may be right, because the Aztecs were only moving those 50 to 100-ton stones that they make to be a big deal. But really, those are not a big deal. It's the 500-ton, the 700-ton stones. That was before them. They came in and saw those, 700-ton stones, and they piled their 50-ton stones on top, or whatever they managed to do. So their technology was nothing, but it was still better than ours today. So they were obviously using electromagnetics to build. They were using electromagnetics to move things, heavy equipment. They were using electromagnetics to make stone, to turn mud into stone, and all these things. We don't even want the technology. We rather have tires to drive around on so that we can make big piles of rubber. Energy. The wheel is again, zeros, circles, O's. Biggest mistake humans ever made. So when you say zero is not a big deal, you got to think about the tires, right? So billions and billions of tires, wasted energy. Right, but if you go to China, they're not using tires anymore. China's already done with it. They got 700-mile-an-hour rail trails that ride on electromagnetic tracks. Right.
But we don't
So
have that budget because we've spent so much money on our
drugs. We didn't know we didn't spend nothing on infrastructure.
our
We spent
roads, our highways.
No, we didn't.
We've have so many highways.
They're all garbage. They're junk. They're,
Exactly.
they're junk. They're made
Spend a
out
lot
of
of money
paper.
on those.
It's purposely done that way so that everybody can be working at you. So like the pavement doesn't have to be made out of tar again that goes away and
Yeah,
breaks
a lot
and
of money,
everything. Right.
honestly.
Even if you went with cobbler fucking stone and you slowed everybody down in their cars a little bit by several miles an hour, right? All these things. The circular motion of a tire is wasted energy when you think about electromagnetics being all around you.
Yeah.
You could just use energy right out of the air to charge everything, to charge our batteries. We could probably use our own energy, but we're not with it anymore. We're just so dumbed down, we don't even realize it. That's why we look at our bodies as bio rather than electrical. Everything's bio species when none of it is really bio. Your heart is an electrical component that needs a pacemaker when it goes, not a pump. So the heart will pump if you add electricity to it. So what is it really? It's really a electromagnetic nanocarbon system. That's our entire body works this way, and the neurological system is the electrical system. So they don't do that, and it goes for everything. The heavy metals and minerals that we take on to make our bodies run perfect, all fucked up, so that we eat so much garbage that we don't need, and I don't just mean junk food. I mean everything. No, not even that. No, I'm saying it could be everything. How much protein we take in, everything's in excess, right?
Mhm.
So, and then, so all the heavy metals and minerals that we take in, mercury, let's say, for example, and fish have a lot of mercury.
I
So
heard that chicken is bad for your digestive system too.
that is because we're really probably not supposed to be eating any of it.
Well,
You
we're
know?
not, but we've become so used to it, our bodies have.
Yeah, because our body weren't we more we were more vegetarians.
Yeah, we were all vegetarian.
Yeah, and then we developed the canines and molars because we started eating more.
And even that,
flesh.
and even that, you must know now that even that was a lie, because you and I discussed this before too. Look at tomatoes before we knew them as tomatoes. They were brown, only about this
Yeah,
big.
no, that was
They're
genetically
disgusting.
modified.
That's
Yeah,
right.
those are GMOs.
Bananas,
Yeah, those are
genetically
GMOs as
modified.
well.
Yeah, the
Right.
ones that were tasty.
Right. So the
And then-
brown, no, they didn't. They mixed it with other
they
things.
changed
Yeah.
the
The gene
mixed stuff
code.
into it.
Right.
It's-
The same way they did with the grapevines. Grapes looked like shit. Grapes tasted like shit. But once they started taking this grape with that grape, and then they take, let's say, a prune tree or something else, also looked and tasted like shit. But once they started crossing them, they started realizing, oh my God, these grapes get bigger and juicier if we mix the strain with that strain over there,
It's
right?
the same concept as like changing, like making new breeds of like animals.
Yes. Use canine as the example,
Yeah.
and exactly, because supposedly 10,000, if we can believe our own history, 10,000 years ago it was 6 dogs, right?
Mhm.
Wolf, indigo,
The-
coyote, wolf.
wild
I'm sorry,
dog.
fox, right? What's
Yeah.
left? There's one left. So 6 fucking dogs, and then now there's 500,000 breeds. I believe it could be 50,000, but I think it's 500,000. So yeah, 500,000 breeds crossing back and forth. Now, if you think about that story I was telling you about, that book that I wrote that time, that story about is so important, because that's the mirror neuron manipulator for the first time in history that I can see was very obvious. Because if you're a farmer of any kind and you got to put a wolf into a barn to mate with a little tiny dog that's only this big, because that was the 6th dog. The 6th dog and the fox was small too, but one of the dogs was very small. So at some point, that big ass dog that bred with bigger dog that now had to breed with this little dog. And the story goes that when they were doing all that in the beginning, many little dogs would die because they were getting fucked to death. They were getting raped to death, because that's what dogs do. They get so horny that they have to have sex. So even though it's not a dog that they would normally want to have sex with, no matter how big the dog is, that little dog's going, right? So they kept doing this, and then to go through all that torture, you got to think about the screaming out in the barn and what the family inside the house was going through while they were crossbreeding these dogs, right? Back however many hundreds, thousands of years, whenever all this went down. But even our bloodline is white skinned people, and you look at our genetics, it don't even go back that far in time. It started with the darkest of black and worked its way through if you follow the genetic code. So we weren't even really, our people were not even around, but yet now we live in America. For the last 250 years, we've been throwing our shit around and saying that, you know, oh no, it's all about us. It's always all been about, no, you fuck, what are we doing here, man? What are we doing? You know, because in reality, you know, we're throwing everybody out of the country, throwing all these are all our ancestors. These are our family. Just because they're different colors and I'll speak a different language, big fucking deal. Uh, Is that,
It's starting to like.
yeah.
It was because a lot of them from South Africa and stuff like moved up to places like Greenland and all those different places, so they had to start going for lighter skin. I read it in a book about survival of the sickest, but it was like the different concepts of how diseases adapt. It's also like how the malaria and whatever, not malaria, melanin in your skin.
You're right.
adapts.
You're right. It is. It is. And it was. And the melanin helped. What? What did the melanin? What did the lighter
with,
melanin?
sunburn and like skin
Yeah.
disease and stuff.
And you. Yeah, that's who. And what else? Edu's most important one.
Oh, like eczema.
No. The vitamin
D.
D.
Yeah.
Right.
And it
'Cause-
was black and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, and also there was
Right.
there was a group of people that ate a lot of stuff. Either it would had little vitamin D or it had a lot of vitamin D. I don't know which way it was, but like their melanin, I believe, went down because of it. Like,
Correct.
Because they had a lot of vitamin D.
Right.
It
What
depends on
they
the
ate.
food that you eat
Right.
Yeah.
to the sunlight.
Of course. Yeah.
And so they started eating worse food. because-
Right. And what was the other one? And what's the one they ate? I'm not the food, but I guess you could say the food too. So there's three main ones that I had you eating, right? Or if not, you took the pill with it, because if you didn't have the pill, huh?
Omega-3.
No, there's only one other one. So K2. So if you don't have K2 to absorb the vitamin D, then that means the sunlight that you get is not going to do your body as good because it's vitamin D from a pill. It's not natural. Now, if you wanted to get,
Kale has K2.
that's one of them,
I bought kale.
and anything else, there's a bunch of them. So you got sauerkraut, right? Was one of them. Beets were another one. So a lot of these things that have K2 in them, if you don't eat that K2, now how much of that K2? That goes to the thing that we overdo everything. So if you know that you're going to be outside in the sun all day, then you only need probably a microgram of K2 in your body. But yet, me not knowing would sit at a table and eat a bunch of sauerkraut, right? Way overdo it. Now my liver has to process all the extra heavy metals and minerals that it did not need. So yeah, my stomach will push some out, but now my liver has to do its job too. So my liver is going to create liver stones. And I'm sorry,
Kidney stone.
no, not the kidney stones. What happens is the liver will pull them up, right? So you have to do liver cleanses regularly. So liver stones first, and then back into your gallbladder. Because what happens is we eat so much of it that your liver gets compacted, and that's everybody. You know, my whole thing, that's what this is. Even though we can say, oh, Mike's getting fat, but
blood too. How they did,
Hmm?
they used to do a lot of bloodletting in like in old Europe.
Yeah, and most people use beef tallow as
Because
sunscreen.
there was something with how their blood, like they almost would have too much. Where
yeah, I don't think that those were good. I don't think those were a good idea, really. I know that it worked in an emergency, but what that does is it puts your body into an emergency mode. You can do the same thing with sleep deprivation, and that's why when you're sick, it's better to not take any medicines. Let your body overheat, go into a fever. Your body will say, "Oh, meltdown," and everything will start working good. Or not eating, fasting for a few days, right? So there's people that fast for 30 days, 60 days. But even if you fast for 1 to 3 days, and you start there, right? You're gonna notice a huge difference. Your mind's gonna be all fucked up. You can't think straight. Please don't talk to me. You're too loud. I mean, it gets crazy just after a few days. And then once you make it through that, and everyone in your life's gonna tell you, you're killing yourself. You better eat something. And you're gonna be like, no. And then you go through all this psychological crap. But in reality, it's a good thing to do because it's letting your body work the same way that we're talking about the COVID. When the COVID came out, every cough medicine bottle says COVID-19 on the fucking back. So COVID-19 wasn't new. It wasn't a secret. It was always fucking there. And then they brought, it's not COVID-19, but COVID. So they're all the COVIDs. It was on the back of the bottle. So all that bullshit that they pulled on us was a big scam, and they were all involved in it. Everybody, medical industry, teachers, parents, uncles and aunts, family, friends, everybody was all in on it together and secretly pretending that, oh no, we're just doing what we gotta do. Fuck you. None of this makes any sense. If you can make any sense of walking in a line, staying 6 feet apart from each other, make sense of any of this. Because if I'm gonna stay 6 feet apart and Edgy walks by me in class and goes like this, and then stands there like this, and then I walk by 2 seconds later, 6 feet apart, and go like this, right? So now I just picked up the virus from here. So how are you going to tell me that staying 6 feet apart is actually going to stop anything? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, okay, fine. If that's the way you all feel, just stay home. Don't go to work anymore. Don't go to school anymore. Take the year off, right? That's what they did. So they shut down everybody. All the businesses all shut down. The schools all shut down. You all went mental because most of the kids, don't want to just pick on you two because only you're here, but all the kids went fucking nuts too because everyone's stuck in their goddamn computer screens. They don't know what the hell's going on. The news cycle is 100 things a day going bad. I'm only talking to you about a few little things, and your head's probably going, holy fuck, because every day it's like this, and then it's becoming a reality now. It's no longer a bullshit story that's coming in 50 years from now. It's here now because these stories were told to us when I was younger, but again, my parents ignored it, my grandparents ignored it. They pretended like it wasn't really happening. Every false flag that came along, they pretended to believe in it, no matter how stupid it was, right? No matter how ridiculous, right? The moon landing. The moon landing was so fucking stupid, and all of our parents and grandparents went along with that nonsense. I mean, their aluminum foil fucking rocket, and then they went through the Van Allen belt. The Van Allen belt's 3,800 degrees Celsius, so they say, and you're gonna fly your aluminum foil rocket through. Not only that, but you're gonna take an extra 800-900 pound car with you so that you can drive around on the moon for your videos. That makes no sense. None of this makes any fucking sense. And you know, Van Allen belt, you can't explain that. Then when you get past the Van Allen belt imaginarily, then you're gonna now be in no gravity.
If you
Huh?
go fast enough, you can go past it.
Go past what?
The Van Allen.
Can't go past. How you gonna get out of it? How do you get out of it? The Van Allen, according to the Van Allen belts now, Mr. Van Allen claimed 3 Van Allen belts back then. So that means you had to get through one barrier, 3,800 degrees Celsius. Not only would we have no metal to make it through, but what's going to happen to any particles?
But an example of that is if you put your hand through a flame like this, you're not going to feel it, right? So
Yes. What do you mean?
because then it's not going to be as hot.
Using your imagination, it won't be as hot because you're only imagining the flame. But if you have a real flame,
Yeah,
that's 3,800 degrees Celsius, you go like this with your hand's gone.
if you think about it, if you're going fast enough,
No, you're not going fast enough.
That level, you can't go that fast.
You're not going fast enough. And then what they gave you as an excuse was even better than yours. Because when people called them out on that, what they said was this. They said, because now there's 11 Van Allen belts today, which is also raises another question, all their bullshit about satellites being in outer space and all that. But they're all lying about everything. They're lying about it all. I'm sure there's satellites out there, but they run just like drones do. Electromagnetic, and they run on the electromagnetic current, which is really strong on the outer atmosphere. That's what they're doing. None of the moon, the sun, or none of this shit is anything they told you it was. So the moon story is one way to look at it, to say, how dumb were my parents and my grandparents to believe this fucking nonsense? So the president's on the phone talking to the freaking spaceship 239,000 miles away, supposedly. We're almost there, sir. And when you watch it, you guys should be looking at that. and thinking about it, and saying, what the fuck were they doing? That could not happen. Today in 2025, you have a cell phone and you go through a fucking mountain and your cell phone loses cell range, right? So 243,000 miles away, not going to happen. If you lose track of a cell tower, huh?
Isn't there like concrete and stuff in the way, like stuff that blocks the signal? If the signal was going straight up.
Not if it's a satellite connection, they tell you. No. So if you, just the same way, if you're going to say that, then look at, from now on, any satellite dish that you go by, you look and see which way it's aiming. They tell you you're on a spinning wet rocket ball spinning 1,100 miles an hour, and you're going through space at 10,000 miles an hour. That's what they tell you. So now if you're spinning 1,100 at the equator, so where we are, you're spinning about 600. So if you're spinning at 600, right here where we are, then why the fuck does not a satellite dish follow the satellite that it's tracking? Even if you had several satellites, because I've heard that bullshit story, even if you had several of them, as this spinning web rocket ball is spinning, it has no way, if your satellites are in outer space. Now, if you go with the other thing you were arguing last week about, why does the water not spin off the earth, right? So if we're spinning at 1,100, why doesn't it spin off the earth? Your answer to that, I told you centrifugal force, and then I know about centripetal force is supposedly what keeps it on, right? Centrifugal spins it off, centripetal, and then what do they tell you in science class? When you try to do that experiment, well, the only experiment we could possibly use is the earth itself. So that's your evidence.
Yeah, because
Fuck you. You can make a fucking tank. You can make a no gravity fucking tank system. You could do
but
anything.
it wouldn't be as heavy or
Doesn't
as
matter. You can use
intense.
that is believing your own lies. That is believing your own lies, because think about what you're saying. You can't make an experiment then that you have no science then. So if you can't replicate it, in other words, do the math and figure out, okay, they tell you the earth is a 25,000 mile ball. So you take that 25,000 mile ball, you figure it out for the size cage you want to do. You can make the cage the size of a room and still do the experiment and have fun with it. But you could also do it in something this big. You just have to do the math and backtrack the math. Use your zeros. Go ahead. Doesn't matter. It's still not going to happen because it's impossible. The only way that it happens is if you're a 25,000 mile ball. Otherwise, how can you really know? That's what they tell you. So they're lying and you're buying their bullshit when you believe that nonsense. You're just, the only reason for you to believe it is
Why would everyone believe it? Like there has to be some
because there are 7.8 billion zombie slaves. There are 7.8 billion zombie slaves on this earth. That's why. There are 7.8 billion zombie slaves on this earth. There are maybe 2,000 to 3,000 people on the earth that'll tell you the things that your own stupid father are telling you. There's only a few thousand, and you're not going to hear from them the same way that none of the 7.8 billion are going to hear from me either, right? Just two kids in the backyard, right? No one else is going to hear me or listen to me. Even my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel's got 275 subscribers now. That's 20 people, humans, the rest are robots. So there's 20 people that follow me on YouTube, and not one of them can even keep up and understand what I'm saying, even when they're trying, right? So there's no chance of this getting out. So there will always continue to be these 7.8 billion zombie slaves. Yes, they will go up and down in size. Right now, we're on our way down, huh?
there has to be some way to explain it better.
No, that I'm explaining it perfectly fine. You have a million ways, just like everybody does. You have a million ways to justify in your mind to not admit what I'm telling you, to not admit it, to go look at it for yourself. Even you're going to say, no, I won't even consider that for myself because that's going to put me in so much danger. It puts my whole life in danger. Huh?
Danger.
Yeah, danger. Danger, the mirror neuron and the mirror neuron manipulator. If you have to go around crying all day, weeping and moaning and being disgusted with yourself for all the things that we as human beings do in this life, then yes, you will be upset, crying all the time. So you have to lie to yourself. You're forced to. Listen, we got going on at different parts of the world. You guys can use the excuse now that you're kids, but your adult family members cannot, right? So right now we can use just a few examples. Look at the wars that we're putting on. Now again, these are just show wars. They're not the real wars. The real war is the Golden Dome that I told you about. It's the cell phones, it's the brain damage, it's the food, the water, the air, it's the chemtrails. That's the real fucking war. All the things that you totally ignore. But besides that, they got to take away from your consciousness and your conscious that you're watching right now hundreds of thousands of people in Palestine be murdered every day. They're starving right now. If you see the pictures, you will not help but cry. You cannot help it. I'm an adult man and I crying when I'm watching this shit. It's fucking disgusting. It's terrible. And then you think back to what we watched happen when Germany was doing it to the Jews, right? And we think about that and say, oh, the Nazis bad. Why did nobody do anything? How could the German people stand by and watch this? How could all the other nations all around stand by and watch this happening? But here we are today, right here in the United States. Let me finish. Here we are today in 2025, and we are now watching 65,000 Mexicans and brown people just got rounded up, brought to Florida, Texas, California, and several other states, right? This is before the $250 billion that ICE just got allowed last month. Before that, they had 65,000. Where did they round them up? Where did they put them? Where are they? You guys must know, right?
Putting them to Alcatraz?
Close. Alligator, Alcatraz, right? Alligator, Alcatraz. The Alcatraz, the old-fashioned Alcatraz, that's another joke that they're doing. I'm sure they will turn it into a camp, but they're just going to tear the building down and put fence and cages up, because that's what they're doing. Outdoor fence cages. And they're not doing this to gang members, because out of the 65,000 that they rounded up, only 1,600 were gang members, bad guys, dangerous felons, that kind of thing, right? So that's a lot of nice people that were just working on the farms, people that were working in the factories. They're all getting fucked. You're watching them getting pulled out of their schools, pulled away from their mothers. That's to pull on mine, yours, mom's, anybody who's paying attention. That's being done to pull on our heartstrings so that we will go bury our heads in our phones and not cry over it, so that we'll ignore it and say, justify it, whatever. Again, the mirror neuron manipulator, because it's the only way. It's the only way we could turn our heads to this kind of shit is if we have a mirror neuron manipulator, or if you're a psychopath. You got it. So when you're a fucking psychopath, you don't need a mirror neuron manipulator because you have no mirror neuron. So therefore, you're a good soldier. You can go out and kill innocent people, no problem, and it doesn't bother you. You don't have to worry. So that's a benefit to somebody, or having people in your life who don't have a conscience. But everybody else should have the conscience, and we should not allow the mirror neuron manipulator to overcome the mirror neuron. We shouldn't. We should learn about it so that we stop doing that, because it's all controllable with the food, the air, the water. That's the whole thing about MK Ultra that I was trying to say earlier. MK Ultra was started a long time ago, but it doesn't. Again, the only reason I'm looking at the moon landing, Pearl Harbor, other big hoaxes and lies is so that I can look back, because you always wonder and say, well, when did it start getting bad? When was it ever good? What generations was it good? But then when I started looking back, I'm like, actually, 9/11 being a bullshit story, COVID all being a bullshit story, right? Then you work your way back. You look at all the hoaxes that some of the school shootings are real. Some of them are fake. It's hard to even know. You got to have a discerning mind like I do, and you got to look a little bit before you know, before you let your mirror neuron kick in. But again, those are good examples of, you see 20 kids in a school get shot. It might be a hoax. It might not even be real. So automatically your mirror neuron goes, whoomp. You get a big chill up your spine. You think about your children at school. You're like, oh my God, I hope my kids are okay today, right? You hear this on the news, and everybody, and this is everybody. It's not just me. This is everyone. So you got millions and millions of mirror neurons just flaring up, and our neurological systems are going like this, no matter what the event is, right? So even if it's real or fake, I still don't know yet. So I'm able to justify usually that it's fake just by going and looking at it a little bit. So I go look at the story. If I see an 8-year-old kid and a 8-year-old little boy and a 9-year-old little girl coming on the news the day after they were just in a classroom, gunned down 27 other students and 2 teachers. And I see this little boy and this little girl standing there telling the story like, oh, yeah, so, and Lisa got on the phone and she was trying to call the freaking, no, 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 no. That's a scam. I don't have to look any further because you see something like that. Think about it, people. You're going to be fucked. You're going to be fucked. Your parents are not even going to allow you to go do a news conference. They're not going to allow you. You just saw your friends all get slaughtered, blood everywhere. You might have been, oh, I just laid there and played dead, and I make believe I was dead. Joey was laying on top of me. They're telling this story that, come on, man. We see people, we see grown men go to Vietnam and go to war. They come back. You could see it in their eyes. They seen death. They didn't want to kill the people they killed. It was hard for them, and they have to live with that now. That's a mirror neuron working. Then you see other soldiers went to the same fucking war, did 10 times more killing, come back, no problem, right? So you know who's who. We know who's who. But the majority of us, we have to use that mirror neuron manipulator in order to lie to ourselves so that we're not crying all the time, right? So any soldier's got to use it. Most soldiers, right? That don't. Right. That's why most police officers have to be psychopaths to take the job as a police officer. Have to be, because all the shit that they're doing all over the news and all over the TV, YouTube's, you watch all the shit.
Are doing bad stuff.
No, they all are. Yeah, they all are. I'm sorry to. Yeah, they all are. How that is the same way that you're all doing bad stuff. So you could claim that you're a good kid and you're a nice boy, and you could make the same claim for your friend. But we just talked about all the 65,000 Mexicans all getting stuck off in the cages. You watched all those little kids being taken. You could be watching all those little kids being dragged away from their parents and take it in and just accept it and then say, you know what, we're not doing this. And then go show it to your friends and then go do and start working on it and say, well, you know, we're not a hell of a lot we can do, but we got to do something. So let's go do whatever, flyers, make YouTube channels about it, you know, do something. We cannot watch this, because that's why I tell you these little stories here and there, preying on your mirror neuron, making you prey on your own mirror neuron manipulator, because I'll tell you these things that are very serious, very important. And then, of course, you have lots of justification and you will run for that justification. You'll go to mom, you'll go to the school, you'll go to your friends, you go to anybody you can. Then you're like, oh, thank God my father's just a fucking weirdo. Because otherwise, if this was all real, then, oh, I don't know what I do. That's your mirror neuron manipulator kicking in. You need an excuse and a reason not to care about all these important things that are really important. Huh?
What can I do that can make a meaningful impact?
All of it. All kinds of things. You'll always say that and you always ask that, but you know the answers to those things. Those answers would come to you by looking and knowing reality rather than knowing the bullshit stories. It's hard for me to tell you when I lived all the fun stuff, way more fun than you guys can even have, because I was a terror. So I understand about that part of it, and I don't want you guys to miss out on that kind of shit. I want you to have some of those enjoyments. But on the same token, I see all the damage and the bad that my generation, my parents' generation, I see what we've done to you. So we've really fucked things for you. And if I got to leave in the next 20, 30 years, you guys are still going to be here. So we left you fucked. You're not going to be able to have apartments. You're not going to be able to have girlfriends, wives. We've taken away everything from you because your job, as you've seen today with him, with the car, that's what Nathan's going through. I talked to him again today about it. This is exactly what you guys are all going to go through. So he's going to be working 3 different fucking jobs just to pay for his car, keep him on car maintenance. And I said, well, why don't you start a small business? That's what I told Edu, rather than, because he's going to be working 1 part-time job at Walmart, another part-time job at a factory somewhere, another part-time at the Job Corps where they send you all different kinds of places. So your gas, mileage on your car's not going to last that long if you're driving all the way to East Springfield every fucking day and all over the place because you're trying to get to the job, right? So you got an older car with mileage on it. That's not what you want. You want something local around here within a few minutes, something like that for a job. But what are they all paying? Minimum wage, they're paying below fucking minimum wage some of these jobs. They keep them all part-time so that you don't get no insurance. How are you going to have children and a family if you're not even being offered insurance by your job? So not only you have to pay your own insurance if you decide to have children, it's going to come out of your fucking pocket. Look at all the struggling parents, your own struggling parents. Not everybody can put on a bullshit show. And I promise you this is all fucking show. All these motherfuckers, this is all for show because there ain't nothing to it. You're talking about the bank owns the house. Mom don't own the fucking house. We don't own any cars. The bank owns the car. When mom's done paying off that loan for the car won't even be worth the fucking money that she still has to put into it for the maintenance that's got to go into it. And they purposely did it. That's why they make the trannies blow after 50,000 miles. After the warranty's up, the trannies go. They didn't have to do that. We had perfectly good transmissions going on for 100 years. They were called hydraulic transmission. So why did we switch over to belt trannies just about 10 years ago? No reason other than planned obsolescence. So why did my generation not stand up to any of this? Knowing that for you guys, now you got your cars are so computerized that Elon Musk fucking drones and along with the cell towers, we're going to know where you are when you're sitting in your chair. We're going to know everything that you're talking about. We're going to know what Edgy's dad is talking about, and we're going to come after that bastard. So, you know what I mean? So they're going to know everything. And then when he goes home, his car leaves, they got another monitor on his car. He's going to stop at the store. He's going to pull out his fucking phone. He's going to make a purchase with his phone. They're going to tell him, nope, you can't do that. Sorry, you already had 22 cupcakes this week. It's not in your budget. So, no, just like they're doing in China. This is not a secret. They did it in Ukraine. They did it in India. They did it in China. And they're doing it in other countries as well. We didn't think that would happen to us because we think that we're fucking free, but we're not. We're not free. That's the problem. And we always been convinced that we were. Constitutional rights, right? They tell you got constitutional rights. They'll start naming them off. First Amendment. You got a First Amendment. Freedom of press, freedom of religion, freedom to address your grievances to government. Go try some of them. Go try some of those fucking things. See how far you get. Nowhere. You'll be arrested in a second. They'll lock you up in jail. They arrest dads for non-payment, and moms for that matter, for non-payment of child support, right? So the child support could be $100, let's say $100 a week, right? So a parent only gets behind. Doesn't mean they're not paying. They just get behind. So once they get behind and it goes to court, and then they take the parent's driver's license away because they call that punishment for not paying your child support, right? So then you get caught not driving without your license, and then there's a charge, right? Then on top of that, when you get further behind because now you lost your job, because you lost your car, because you lost your license. So now to take care of that and punish you for that, now we're going to lock you up in jail. So it costs about $123,000 on average to jail somebody for a year, per year, right? So we're going to pay $123,000 a year to jail this person, take away their fucking life, keep them away from their child or children, whatever the story may be. And then you're going to do all that when really you could have just flipped them the $100 a week that they were short on child support until they got caught up, until they got another job or whatever their story was for being late on their payments. But no, that would just make too much sense. That would just make too much fucking sense. We can't do that, you know? Because you add that up, that's not $120,000 a year, but that's what we spend on average. Some are higher, right? So, and then that leads them to do a bigger crime, and it's a fucking nightmare, man. Oh, I thought you were sleeping over. That's why I was talking so much. Yeah, I didn't know you were in a rush. I knew I had to go. I was keeping you guys all day.
My sister's like, she just got off the pipe over by Palmer. What? I'll let her know if I'm sleeping over, but
Oh, okay, yeah. You're right, it is a spider.
What?
That scared me so bad. Holy, dude, did I run through one of those woods one time? I took those.
I know, I wonder if I did too.
Dude, I run through these bushes.
Oh my god.
Dude,
I mean, I want a picture. That's horrible. As
Dude, I'm gonna run into that bush. And
Mm.
we're gonna throw a ball over there. We're gonna run into the bush and it's gonna be spider.
I think I lost my cigarette somewhere. You guys let the spider go out?
Dude, that's sick.
It's horrifying. What do you mean that's
I have arachnophobia. I'm shaking right now, but it's still cool.
yeah, but that's so it's horrifying.
Which way is my camera facing?
I can't tell. We go outside, there's so many spiders. I don't like it. I don't like fake spiders. I don't like ones that look like they could kill me. That would be neat. That would be not very nice with the spider.
Dude, this thing jumps on me, bro. I'm lucky gonna crash out.
Yeah, you told me to get scared, jump
Yeah,
on.
dude, it's probably gonna get terrified from all the flashes. Dude, that thing is sick. Look at how huge that is.
Get the whole web. Like, I see.
It's not like good pictures, but like.
I'm not going anywhere near that. Dude, I'm gonna get a face full of spider one day.
Alright, get me away from here before I start tweaking out.
I'm gonna get a face full of spider. It's not very fun at all.
Wait.
Yo, you broke the chair. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah, that's where all of my body weight was. I was all curled up on like my hip. Damn!
That's so sick.
Full leg spread, that'd be bigger than. I think that's my palm. If its legs are fully spread out, I think that's the size of my.
There's multiple webs.
Yeah,
There's another web.
it's making its web right now. It's making it. Do you see the trail it's making?
Wow, that's actually so cool.
That's something, huh?
Look, it's making the web. It's making.
Wait, do you have your phone? Just set like the flashlight so I can actually take a picture.
Ooh,
'Cause I'm-
video.
Whenever I take my picture, it turns off the flashlight. I'm not gonna get so close to where it can touch me. I don't like that. I'm like.
He looks
shaking.
like a biter. He looks like a biter.
Yeah,
Looks
that's
like
why.
a killer.
That's why I'm not going that close.
Look, he's making a little circle. That must be new. You think
You know what you should do? Is
I
you
ran
should-
into a web.
You should go get Olivia and see
Oh,
if
that
that's
must
the
be the
spider
web
that
that
you
you
saw in
ran
her
through.
room.
That must be the web that you ran through.
No, because there's a web I ran through, and he must have moved to the left.
You must have brought him into Olivia's room.
Oh my god, I must have.
I wonder, cause she was really acting scared about that spider, so I wonder if it was looked like this. Probably why. Great tarantula.
I'm leaving before I start freaking out.
Alright.
I can't stand spiders.
I lost the moon anyway, it's down behind the trees.